Welcome back, everybody. WildeWilly here with episode 6 of our Get OP in the DLC walkthrough. We're going to be picking up here from the storehouse first floor site of Grace. So we are going to be working our way down to the southern portion of the map. There is one section of the map that we have not uncovered yet. We're going to get prepared to go down there. Just to recap where we are, we're waiting for the elevator. We are at Scadutree Blessing level 10 and Revered Spirit Ash Blessing level 4. We should be sitting on 2 Scadutree fragments and 1 Spirit Ash at the moment. And I also wanted to point out that I'm only level 100. And if you know anything about the DLC, the recommended level for players in the DLC is from 125 to 150. So I'm definitely under leveled. That's not nice. All right, let's have a poise contest. I win. Come on, drop your helmet. Drop your helmet. Oh, I got his armor. Why was I saying drop your helmet? The helmet, the Fire Knight set is a very good set. I usually kind of farm these guys up by the end of running through the Shadow Keep. I have the whole set. If you're familiar at all with the base game and what an Erdtree's Favor +1 is, it boosts your stamina, it boosts your health a little bit, and it boosts your equip load. Just from wearing the one piece, the helmet. So that is beyond awesome. It might ruin your fashion a little bit, but it's definitely worth getting. So just to kind of tie it all together, if we go down there and to the right, there's a doorway that will take us into the Golden Hippo fight. If you entered the castle normally, you would be coming up from over there where my head is, and then we are going to proceed around and down. Right here there's a little spot that we're very careful to drop off and not land in the water and not take any fall damage. That shiny in front of us was a trap. If you keep working your way around that way, it'll bring you to that ladder and you can come up behind the zone and attack from behind the zone. There's some vulgar militia waiting to ambush you there. If you go for that shiny, they hop over the boat and attack. But we are going down here. Once again, don't try to jump down here. You will die to gravity. One way to proceed. There is a painting that you can pick up much later when you head up to where Bale is up on the mountain, and then I'm gonna pop this false wall, and no loot down here. We head on down here for the infamous Elden ring. Hey, there's a stone sarcophagus. Let me get into it and close the lid and yeet myself over the edge of a waterfall. Sounds like a great idea. Anyway, you're gonna go ahead and skip the cutscene. And now we're getting out. There is nothing behind us in that room. Unless they changed it, put some loot in here. I will come in here just to verify for you OCD people like me that there is no loot in there. So don't worry about it. Just proceed ahead. I'll pull up the map and show you where we're at and where we're going here in a second. We're just going to come out here and touch the Grace. And then we're going to get going. So you can see there are bits of furnace golems lying about. That is a church. Once you defeat 2 furnace golems, one is going to pop out over there right above my head, and then there's another one. If you chuck a fire pot into its head, it will come back to life, and then you get to kill it, and that gives you access to the church. The church is one of the sites where you can get the Sword of Night and Dark, light and darkness. And there's a catacomb where you want to get it. You get the stone sheath sword, tongue twister, that you can turn into the sword of light or the sword of darkness at an altar. The problem is if you pick it up at one of the altars out in the world first instead of the one in the catacomb, whichever one you pick up next or last, like if you go to the catacombs last, that is where you're going to turn it into the sword of light, which is by far the best. So the catacomb, I'll point out where that is. Run through there first before you come back here and try to access this church. These are just furnace visages. These are what you need for, in terms of crafting materials to make the furnace pots, to take down the furnace golems, or in this case, bring the one to life. We're going to be heading over here to a grace, and then we are going to be proceeding south and down, generally speaking. Well, let me go back to the grace and make it morning, and then we will proceed. Alright, and we're down in a valley, so that didn't improve the light situation much. There's like a little skip that you can do, I think, that gets you into the fortress. We're just going to ride around this way. I want to see if there's any loot over here, first of all. And second of all, I wanted to see... Is it really that easy? Can I just come in here? Or do I have to go in there to get into the church? Anyway, Lost Ash of War. This is the one you have to chuck the furnace pot into. Let's just ride around the back. You cannot, without it, there's something you can do jumping-wise that gets you in there without defeating the furnace golem. And I'm so glad I came through here. Although, this is what we're after. The Revered Spirit Ash, pick that up. I think there's another one we can grab on the way down. There's a Scadutree fragment at the bottom of one of these waterfalls, and then there are 2 hippos that we can kill, and they will both give us one. The grace should be right, yep, right along here. Let's tap that. And then coming up ahead, there are going to be a couple gaps in the cliff. You're going to be kind of riding along, and then all of a sudden there's going to be a gap where you can fall to your death, so just pay attention. Right there's one of them. And another one. That one's a little more obvious. So there are going to be some fly people here. They might try and ambush you while you jump across. We're going to just jump across and keep going. And we're just following the cliff edge, and then it's going to kind of swing down again. All right, so there's our grace. Let's slide on down over here and grab that. Might have to fight some people here. Fortunately, I'm right next to a grace, but they might do that. Gotta make sure I don't roll off a cliff. All right, there's one. And yeah, I didn't think you were quite dead. All right, so we're going to be proceeding down there. There's where the 2 hippos are. And then somewhere down there, there's going to be the fly village. I forget what they're called. So we got another Spirit Ash blessing, so we can level up with that. And there really isn't any other notable loot in that village. And we should be able to just dip in, grab the Revered Spirit Ash, and dip out. Which would be the plan. So let's just follow along. Avoid the flies. Okay, down here, there's going to be a curse blade. And right down here is where we want to kind of turn up. I'm having trouble seeing. I just want to ride a little bit to try to lose aggro, get up here in the village. Having a problem with my computer. All right, so there's my Revered Spirit Ash. I'm just going to keep going. Not ideal. I get messages from my work, and then it kicks me out of my computer. Like, it kicks my game off of my screen. So I'm kind of running blind, riding along. We should be able to reach these guys and then keep dropping down to the right. That looks a little too far. Let me see if I can, nope. Get back to a grace. All right, let me see if I can pull my game back up on my main computer, because I can't see shit on my OBS screen. Hope I don't yeet myself off a cliff while I'm doing this. Nope, come on. Okay, finally, there we go. I can drop down. Be very careful. Alright, you just want to keep going. Eventually there's going to be a point where we can just drop down over here. And there's a catacomb over there. We missed the hippos, so I'm just going to run for the catacomb. There are a couple vulgar militia here. There's the catacomb. We're going to duck in here, and we're going to reset. Dark Light Catacombs. Where's my grace? I might have to go down and get it. Let's go down and get it. Fast moving elevator. Gotta love that. Alright, so there's our grace. And I'm just gonna rest, and then we're gonna ride up, and I'm gonna warp back to the other grace so that we can kill the hippos. And given that I had a view the size smaller than an index card, that went really well. All right, so let's go back over to the recluse downstream side of grace, and we are going to walk over to the edge where we were, and then we're going to start dropping down. There should be some of those cliffside coffin thingies right there. And I'm just going to start out here. I don't need torrent right now because I'm literally just walking off the side. Or got to give a little hop there, little hop there. And you want to end up over there. So, all right, now we'll get on torrent. And I think this might be our waterfall. One of these waterfalls has our Scadutree fragment under it. That's the dry leaf stuff. That's gained set. Alright, over here there is a little mausoleum where you can get Rakshasa, the armor set, and there's a katana in there. And there's just like slugs down here. I know I let a shiny go. We're gonna have to drop down again and come from the other side. It might be down here. Let's just keep going. So hop, 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 hop. I'm not even jumping. I'm just walking off the edge. this one's going to require a little double hop. And hop, hop, and you're down. Anything? Bueller, Bueller. Where's my Scadutree fragment? Alright, anyway, hippos. You're going to see the summon sign. Pull out your mimic. If you don't like mimicking, do what you do. There's one here. We'll fight this one, and then when we kill it, we'll go to the other one, which is right straight ahead of us. I'm going to mount up and go give it a whack. This is kind of to, and you can see the other one off in the distance. Kind of give you an idea of the moveset that they have. So they have the snapping jaws, and the big one has that. He does the head toss. Heal up. Stop showcasing its moveset so much and start trying to do damage to it. Alright, he's dead. And the mimic barely got scratched, and there's our Scadutree fragment. And now let's find the other one. He should be over here I'm going back where I started. He should be over there. Come on, mimic, over here. You just knocked down that tree, so let me buff up again. I need to drink my flask. I drink a crab too. Drink a crab. Eat a crab. I'm going to eat my boiled crab. And I'm going to heal up. But these things still do a lot of damage. I did not mean to do that. We're getting on torrent, not drinking. Alright, so done showcasing the moveset. This time I'm here to pump damage. If you can stay around the back of him, obviously that's good. And he's down. Alright, so Mimic is all done, and then normally after this fight, what we would do is we would... Let me go check this waterfall. It might be right down here. I know there's a Scadutree fragment around here someplace. Normally there's... You see the very tiny little coffin thingies? You can drop down the cliff to... I want to head north. A little bit of loot up here. What's that? 6 smithing stone ones. Okay. At least they gave you a bunch. It's not there. So I'm going to have to check my notes and figure out where it's at. How are we doing on time? Not too bad. Let me just take you over to the southern edge of the cliff and look down and see how we could have gotten down to the dark side catacombs. Kind of right over here. You can see them right over there, and then there's a path down to our catacomb down there, but we already made it. And the other path, the thing that I did, so you can kind of see it, it kind of looks like a shelf or stairs or whatever, just to the left of my head there. That takes you down. I wonder if it's down there. Can you even get down there, or you just die? I think you just die. You have to hop across. Alright, well, I'm totally mystified. I'm going to pause the video, ride around for a little bit, see if I can figure out which waterfall it is. If I do, I'll pop back in. We'll find it eventually, and I'll tell you where it is without wasting time. All right, so I found it, everybody. It is under this waterfall. Basically, it's kind of right under the site of grace that we were at. This waterfall, our site of grace is up there. The way that you get to it is you come from this site of grace, and then you have to kind of cross over, and you work your way around, around over here, and then you drop down, and then you ride up this section of the river. And you can see the Miranda flower off in the distance. So I'm not going to ride back to show you, but I am going to show you one other thing from the site of grace where you start from. I can show you how to get started at least. One other thing to point out, where is it? Right there, you have another one of the shiny pop things, bell bearing that you do. So anyway, what you would do, at the risk of aggroing a bunch of enemies, I won't ride all the way around, is you hug the cliff, and you're going all the way around until you get over to there. And then you're going to start dropping down there, and you need to drop down and start heading northwest. Don't drop all the way down, which is kind of what I did the first time, you know, showing you where the mausoleum and stuff are. So anyway, we have our 2 Revered Spirit Ashes and our 3 Scadutree fragments, and we unlocked the Dark Light Catacombs. So we are done with that part. Where I want to go to next is I want to get started a little bit on Castle Ensis. And what we're going to do first is we are going to ride up here, and then there's going to be a little path down and a little spot that we can hop over and go through, and that is going to give us like the Magic Drake Talisman, I think it's called, +3. Because there is, you know, there's a boss at the bottom of the Dark Light Catacombs, and he's a magic spammer. So for those of you that have 4 talisman slots, that is a good pickup to have for that fight. So now we are Scadutree Blessing level 11. Let me get rid of all the marks on my map so we're not confusing people. There we go. And we will get started in the castle proper in a little bit. So we just want to head up this way, and then we're going to double back on ourselves. And it's just going to be a quick run. I'm not going to bother making it daytime. We're going to go in the castle. There's going to be a troll, a magic troll, like a carrion troll, like Balls. And then we just reverse course, ride past the bats. Keep heading down to that little lip. You can see the ledge on the other side. That's all we're headed for. Hop across. There is a gap. Head in here. No enemies to worry about. And right here on this body is the Spell Drake Talisman +3. And we aren't aggro to anything, so I will go back here. And I think I'll make it like... I'll make it morning again. It'll get light as we're working our way through the castle. Be dark to start out with. Trolls, same deal. 2 charged heavies will take them down, and then you can do a critical for most, if not all, of their health. This guy's pretty beefy, but same troll moveset. And he does do some magic stuff. So be aware of that. You can see him over there. So go ahead and do your buff routine. All right, and we're gonna run on in. Fortunately, does the roar first, and I can get off a couple of attacks, and it's his turn apparently. Just dodge that. Get off the heal. Alright, now he's doing this running thing where he runs all around and let's see if I can get a good whack. There's our... And I'm just going to beat on him. I can't get to his head in time. And he's dead. I think he gives us a somber 9. Yep. And some royal magic grease. Alright, so we're going to head up into the castle proper. Get ourselves to a grace. What I want to really grab is right around here. There's a guy and his dog. I hope I don't get yeeted off the cliff. Alright, they're dead. And up here is one of my weapons for the run. I talked about getting a couple of DLC weapons up to +9, +10, +25. This is the smithing weapon. This is the Milady. It is a light greatsword. So let me go down where I've got room and I will show you. And then we will proceed. Oh, and I equipped it and immediately unequipped it. Brilliant. So there it is. Decent range. Lightweight. Very fluid moveset. That was the light attack combo. That's the heavy attack combo. Rolling light, rolling heavy. Very similar. Very nice. And we are going to switch between a Flame Art infusion and a Holy infusion. Because once I'm done getting my strength up to 40, I'm going to start pumping faith. Those will be my 2 stat dump points. Yeah, I'll keep working on that on my own. Whatever build you guys are working towards, great. So let's find our Bloodhound's Fang. And I think we're just going to get to the first grace through this first section of the castle. And then we're going to wrap up. We got a dog here. Got another Mesmer soldier. This is why I love Bloodhound's Fang for this part. It's got enough heft behind it that it can stagger enemies, even big ones with shields. Alright, so there's going to be a Black Knight coming down. While he's messing with the stairs, I'm going to run in here and grab this. I think it's just a cookbook. And I'm going to run past him. Let's wait a little bit. Might as well buff up a little bit. Just in case. You see me? You want to have a go? Yeah, well, guess what? I don't. I just want this grace up here. And I'm stuck on a little lip. And you still want to have a go. Okay, and I have more poise than you. And you are dead. Alright, so we're coming up on 30 minutes. We made it to the castle. We're going to just grab that. There's another Scadutree fragment. Another cross message, another cross to read. We're going to be proceeding there and drop down right where that soldier is in the next episode. So let me rest up here and I will catch you all for episode 7 of the walkthrough next.